welcome back to this item, verbs. We did discuss in the class last 2 the same topic. Okay, let's look at its categorization, verbs categorization. There are two types of verbs. The first one is what we call main, in connection with the understanding of tenses. We must be in a position to understand how they have been divided. Verbs are divided. What are verbs? When I say a verb, what it means is, what it also means is, it's a transitive verb. It's also an intransitive verb. Otherwise, transitive verbs and intransitive verbs. In the same fashion, okay, there are helping verbs too. So, whenever there is a sentence, there are two segments, items which are to be focused on to understand the sentence. As in the class last, we did discuss what a verb is. A verb is any verb. Okay, verb, any verb for that matter, becomes the verb phrase. Verb phrase, where C-H-E-R-E, verb phrase in a sentence. It's very important. That's why we better look at this categorization, this division. Okay, one must know. Verbs, there are two types of verbs, main verbs and helping verbs. In main verbs, there are two more categories. There are transitive verbs and intransitive verbs. Okay, and next, in helping verbs, there are again two more categories: primary helping verbs and modals. To know verbs, that is to get the sense of a sentence, we have to focus on all these items. All these items are to be looked at. Okay, otherwise we may not understand a sentence properly as it is to be understood, or sentences properly as they are to be understood. That's why, okay, this image, okay, this glimpse, okay, you have to keep this image in your mind all the time. Whenever you read a sentence, this image should come to you, otherwise you may not be in a position to understand the sentence. Okay, one more time: verbs, main verbs, helping verbs, transitive main verbs and intransitive main verbs. In helping verbs category, we have two more subcategories: primary helping verbs and modals. Okay, now to understand, we should focus on what? A verb in a sentence. We should focus on the verb phrase in a sentence. The concept verb phrase, verbs are in fact verb phrases in sentences. Verbs are verb phrases in sentences. What it means is, a verb phrase is a combination of make it plural, since we have a plural phrase here. Main verbs plus and main verbs and helping verbs. Okay, a verb phrase is a combination of a main verb and helping verb. When we have these two, okay, what is formed is tense. Here tenses. Okay, tenses. So, if you don't have a verb phrase in a sentence, there cannot be a tense. When you don't have a tense in a sentence, there cannot be a sense, a meaning. So, a sentence which does not have a verb phrase cannot be a sentence or is not a sentence. Okay, that's what we are going to look at. Okay, we'll take a number of examples up and we'll study, do we have such phrases in sentences and do they make sense? Okay, all these things we will look at considering a number of examples. Yeah, dear students, look at all these examples that I have written on the board. Okay, looking at them, otherwise examining them, okay, we'll understand what a verb phrase is, the importance of a verb phrase in a sentence to understand the sentence. Okay, let's get started. In the first sentence, okay, the sentence is, I wake up early in the morning. If I ask you which is the verb phrase in the sentence, you may tell me, I believe, what is after the subject. What is after the subject is the verb phrase. Now, what is a verb phrase in a sentence? A verb phrase, as I have told you, okay, we did discuss, it's a combination of what? A helping verb plus a main verb. Whenever there is the verb phrase, a main verb. Okay, here too in the example given too, wake up cannot be alone. No doubt it is a main verb, but it cannot be alone in a sentence. It is to be with a helping verb, and our learning lies here. This is what is to be deciphered. This is what is to be understood properly. Otherwise, you may not understand the English language and its use, otherwise its grammar at all. That's why I need your rapt attention. Kindly be slow. Okay, try to focus on, examine. Wake up is not alone. Whenever there is a verb in a sentence, it will be a verb phrase because it cannot live or stand, be there alone. It is to be with a helping verb. To understand this sentence, a particular sentence, you have to understand the helping verb of the main verb, the helping verb that goes with the main verb. That's why wake up is not alone, there is a helping verb with it. Okay, we will decipher the same later. Now, in the second example, look at this phrase. Okay, he Anuka, but they have nothing to do with this phrase. This is a different phrase. You can't compare it with he, you can't compare it with Anukar. They are in fact different segments, classes, word classes otherwise. Now, look at this. Has bought is what? It's a verb phrase. It is the verb phrase in the sentence. To understand this sentence, okay, we have to understand this properly. Again, if you decipher, if you examine, the combination is the same. What is the combination? A helping verb and a main verb. Can you see here? Is it possible to see? Is it possible to understand? I'm sorry. Is it possible to understand? Is it possible to see, to examine? Has bought. Has is a helping verb. Here it is invisible, the helping verb. We'll look at it later one more time after examining all these sentences. Okay, we'll come back to the first one. First one is in fact unique. Other helping verbs are not, because they are visible all the time. For example, have, has, had, they are all visible. Whenever they are used in sentences, they are visible. Or if you consider be forms, is, am, are, was, were, is, am, are, was, were, they are all visible all the time. It doesn't matter when. But only in the first example, the helping verb of the first main verb, that is wake up, is invisible. Why? We'll understand the same later. Okay, we'll come back to the point. Now, okay, here it's the verb phrase is has bought. Now, in the third example, not second, the second is over. The verb is, in the third is, third example, the verb is went. Okay, again, what should be here? Whenever there is a main verb, there is a helping verb. Okay, and whenever there is a helping verb, we must understand which helping goes with the main verb. It's according to the main verb, it's according to the helping verb. Okay, we'll be able to understand a particular tense. It is the helping verb that decides a particular tense. Very important. To understand a tense, you have to understand verbs. To understand verbs, you have to understand helping verbs and main verbs. It is the helping verbs that they decide which particular tenses occur. It's because of the helping verbs, okay, tenses occur. Very important. Without the helping of helping verbs, main verbs can't form tenses. That is the idea that I want to share with you. Okay, this is what is to be taken away. This is what is to be your learning at the end of the day. Okay, and after discussing all these example sentences, model sentences otherwise, what's to be your understanding, what's to be your learning? This is to be your learning. Learning is a helping verb helps a main verb to form a tense, a particular tense. That's why the definition changes. Tense is a combination of a helping verb and a main verb. For the time being, I did tell you in the class last. But now it's going to be changed. A slight change occurs. Okay, after considering all these examples. Now we'll move on to the next example. Look at this phrase again. What is the phrase? Helping verb and main verb. Here too, main verb is visible. Here, helping verb and main verb both are visible. In the second example too, helping verb and main verbs are visible. Okay. Now, in the third example, okay, it is the main verb, but the helping verb is not visible. All these two, the first, the third, and the last. Okay. In the sentences, the helping verbs are invisible. Okay, why? We'll understand. Now, is the idea clear? Has this been clear to all the students? The idea is a tense is a combination of a helping verb and a main verb. In the first example, there is a main verb. You should at once believe in the fact that there is also a helping verb. In the second example, the helping verb is has, one of the have forms, and the main verb is bought. It is from buy. In the third example, the main verb is went, but the helping verb is invisible. Okay, we'll look at which verb is the main verb there. Now, Kavya is submitting her assignment by the end of this month. Here, the helping verb is one of the be forms, and next the main verb is submitting. It is from submit. In the last example, he loves nature. The main verb is visible, helping verb is not. Okay. Now we'll go to the next item. Verbs. Okay. Tense, time. Tense is what? A combination of helping and main verb. Helping verb and main verb. A combination of helping verb and a main verb is what is a tense. Now, okay, in the verb there were two types of verbs. There are two types of verbs. Okay, we did see, right? Now, main verb and helping verb. To understand in fact a tense, okay, as I've told you, we have to focus more on helping verbs, because it is the helping verbs which decide in fact particular tenses. That's why helping verbs, there are two types of helping verbs. Primary helping verb, one is primary, second one is modal. Modals at present it won't be our focus, okay, it won't be our bone of contention. We'll focus more on primary helping verbs. Now, there are three types of primary helping verbs. The first is do forms we call do. The second is be. The third is have. All these are primary helping verbs. Okay? Tense is a combination of a particular helping verb, okay, and next a particular form of a main verb. Look at how has it been changed. Helping verb and a main verb I have told you, but because a particular helping verb helps a particular helping verb helps a main verb to form a particular tense, there is a particular helping verb. That's why tense definition is, it's a combination of a particular helping verb, means to say either be or do or have, and in them do's, one of the forms, do, does, did, one of these. Have is one of the forms, have as had. Be is one of the forms, is, am, are, was, were, one of these. That's why a particular helping verb. Next, a particular form of a main verb. Particular form of a main verb. Okay, we'll look at it again later. Particular form of a main verb. Now, do has forms. Do, does, did. Be has forms. Everybody knows, I believe. Am, is, are, was, were. Have has forms. Has, have, had. So, all these forms, all these helping verbs occur and reoccur, go with main verbs in sentences. Whenever you speak, don't you produce sentences? So, when you produce sentences, these are bound to happen. These are bound to come. They are supposed to come. They should come. Why should they come? They always go with main verbs. If they don't go, they themselves are main verbs. Hang on. The idea is also very important, but we may not discuss it now. This idea is to be taken in first. The idea is a tense is a combination of a particular helping verb and a particular form of a main verb. What is a tense? A tense is a combination of a particular form of a helping verb. Very important. Particular because we don't use be when we need do. We don't use do when we need be. We don't use have when we need be. Have you got my point? That's why a particular helping verb leads to a particular form of a main verb, moreover a particular tense. Whenever there is a particular helping verb, there is a particular tense. For example, I wake up early in the morning. It's because of the helping verb do, there is a particular tense. The tense is the present indefinite tense. It's because of this helping verb, there is a particular tense. It's because of am, I am going, there is a particular tense. Am and go together. I'm going home. Is a present continuous tense. It's because of the presence of a be form plus the main verb form. The main verb form is going, from go. That's why a tense is a combination of a particular helping verb and a particular form of a main verb. Okay, that's why I have told you to focus more on helping verbs. If you are able to decipher this concept, understand this idea, I'm sure the tenses are yours. You just have to look at the helping verb, and at once you will be able to understand a particular tense which it forms, which helps a main verb to be formed. That's why this concept is very important. A tense is a combination of a particular helping verb and a particular form of a main verb. Okay, have you been able to follow? We have changed the definition. Tense is a combination of a helping verb and a main verb was our first understanding. Later we have made ourselves clear that tense is a combination of a particular helping verb and a particular form of a main verb. Okay, now we'll look at the I wake up. I wake up early. I wake up early in the morning. In the morning. Okay, now we have nothing to do with all these parts, words. We just have to focus on wake up. Okay, now here, as I've told you, it's a verb phrase. First is a helping verb. What is the helping verb here? If you are not unable to do this, understand this idea, okay, I'll dissect it. Okay, make it negative, the sentence negative. What comes here? Do comes, I do, negative ಆಗಬೇಕು. So it is not I do, and do is what? You have to tell me what happens next. Wake. Okay, wake up. Now how has this come? Look at this helping verb. Where has this been taken from? Who has given or gifted you? Where has it come from? Where is it from otherwise? Why has this come? Why do you think one of the be forms has not come? Why do you think one of the have forms has not come here? It's because of the restriction. Yeah, what restriction? Whenever there is a helping verb invisible, okay, invisible, the helping verb that is invisible is a do form all the time. Okay, main verbs to form particular tenses. Have forms help main verbs to form perfect tenses, either the present perfect or the past perfect. Be forms help main verbs to form continuous tenses. Be forms are, is, am, are, was, were, present perfect continuous tenses, tense or past perfect continuous tense. That's why they are visible all the time. Only one primary helping verb that is not visible, that is invisible, is the do form. The do form here is do. Why it is do? It is not woke up. If it was woke up, it is woke up, it would be I did not wake. Have got my point? If it is he wakes up, it would have been a different verb. He wakes up. Do will be does. Wakes because of wakes. That's why whenever there is a main verb, what is expected of it? Helping verb is to be. A helping verb should be beside. It should be there all the time. You should watch its boss. A helping verb always tells its boss, I am there to help you. Why do we need? That's why helping verbs. We always need helping verbs to form, okay, all these functions you may have to remember. Tenses. one of them is tenses. The second is to form questions. Questions. The third is tenses, questions, and whenever we want to make sentences negative, we need helping verbs. In fact, particular helping verbs according to tenses, according to the tenses which we see in sentences. We can't change the tense to make a sentence negative. We can't change the tense to make it a question. We have to retain all the time, a sentence's tense. Okay. Now, the idea that's been discussed throughout is this. In the class last, it was just tense was a combination of a helping verb and a main verb. In this class, after everything, before we call it a day, it is just this. It was a particular helping verb. It was a helping verb and a main verb combination, but today it is a combination of a particular helping verb. What I mean is one of the be forms, one of the have forms, or one of the do forms, and a particular form of a main verb. Very important. Particular form. We have seen the particular form of a helping verb. We'll take the particular form of a main verb maybe in the class next.